I've been talking. Okay, this being my very first time. All right. I kind of screwed up. I'm so sorry. I've been talking to myself for I feel like 10 minutes right now. Okay, where was I? Jesus, that's a lot of information to be thrown on the screen at once. Okay, now, wow. Okay, we're shifting. We're learning how to shift. Cool. Again, at least that first 10 minutes was me practicing. All right, now we're gonna be. Hold on, I'm looking at two screens here. I want to see exactly why. Are you guys seeing what I'm seeing? Do I have to press play here? So I am live streaming. Yes. All right. Again, technical difficulties here, maybe. I seem to be paused. There we go. Okay, I'm just there's like a 10-second delay between what's on here and over here. I want to see, make sure that I'm pointing. I want to make sure that it is an actual 10 seconds. Oh, wow, that's a lot longer than 10 seconds. What do I have to do here? Oh, okay, that was like 20-second delay. That doesn't really matter. All right, maybe I'm repeating myself here. I actually don't know what you guys have even said. All right, because I have been talking since whatever it was, 6:45. But I'm going to go ahead and repeat myself because I'm still new. All right, what do we got? 13 speed. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm reading the comments here. People are actually starting to comment. Okay, hello, Moroccan. How are you? All right, I'm not going to be dipping into that just yet. No, let's go ahead and start from the very start. Now, this is the very first screen. Okay, I want to be teaching you guys. Is the clutch. All right, this is just a very, I want to kind of go over exactly what the clutch is about. Let me rewind that. And I'm going to be going over everything on this screen. And now, this may not be exactly what is going on, but you just don't need to know everything that goes on underneath. And I will be showing you like videos like this. I'll be going over exactly what's going on here. All right. Oh, can I go back to this one? There we go. I'll be going over everything, but I just sometimes it's just good. It's just better to not know exactly what's going on, but pretend it's something else. All right. A lot of people when they are actually when they are learning something, it's just they teach in a way of pretend. Pretend is like this. So this is what we're going to be doing, but it's not. It won't be bad. Trust me. All right. I'll tell you exactly how it is and how I want you to look at it. All right. Over here is the RPMs. RPMs go up and down. Just like, and this will make the RPMs go up and down. All right. Again, this is an animation, and so I will be pausing and playing all the time. And again, now this part in here is the clutch and and the input shaft. Basically, this will be the bridge between the engine and the transmission. Okay. Now, all right. Oh my God, I got 26 people watching me. Not nerve-wracking at all. Okay. So, again, this is the bridge. We need this in order to get the transmission moving from a stop. All right. Not so important once we're moving, but we're going to use it every single time. All right. Again, this is it's more important that you know how to double clutch than not how to double clutch. Okay. Floating will come later, and I will tell you about floating, but I don't really recommend it, even though I won't stop doing it myself. But it's just, Anyway, let me get back to it. So what do we got here? Okay, the clutch brake pad. We'll get to that in a second. Okay, and transmission, engine, clutch, engine, throttle. Okay, let's go ahead and let's start off with telling you guys about the each section. There is 4 sections to the. There we go. There is 4 sections to the clutch. All right, the clutch pedal. At the very top is the free play. Now, what I want you to do is get into the truck. All right, don't turn the truck on. All right, and I want you to bounce the clutch up and down. All right, nothing will happen. Just bounce it up and down. There we go. All right, that's just, I want you to know where the bottom of the free play is, because the bottom of the free play is the very top of the friction zone. Now, I don't know if everybody calls it a friction zone. Basically, the friction zone is when you lift the clutch up, the truck will start to move right at the bottom, and then it will be fully engaged up here. All right, and then you lift your foot off, and the clutch will go all the way up to the top, or the clutch pedal. So that is important. Now, I want you to kind of show you in this little animation here, right? Basically, when I start over here and work my way down, you're going to see an opening, and basically the clutch, once the clutch is not engaged, the clutch will not be spinning at the same rate as the engine. All right. When you disengage the clutch, it is now on its own spinning cycle. Basically, it's just going by momentum, kind of like a fidget spinner. You know, it'll just spin and whatever. You know, it's just spinning on itself. I don't know what it's spinning on. I don't know if it's spinning on ball bearings or grease, but it's spinning and it'll spin for a while. All right, and it doesn't stop as quickly as, you know, when you rev up the RPMs here, it'll just drop down. Well, if you engage the clutch, like right up when it's at like 1500 RPM or whatever, right, it kind of hangs out there and kind of slows down. All right, but not as quickly as here. And that's kind of why I want to dig deep into the whole clutch part and why it is so important to use the clutch. So, okay, sorry, I'm just reading a comment here. Okay, yep. You need to clutch at the starting point. Okay. Anyway, let's play. All right, so here we go. As you can see, if you see a yellow, that means the clutch is not engaged. As you can see, the clutch is not spinning at the same rate. See how it's kind of not? Yeah, there we go. See how it's spinning at a different rate? Okay. Now we're going to be dipping into the clutch brake. I love the clutch brake. I love the knowledge of the clutch brake. I love that. Well, I don't love this, but so many people do not understand the clutch brake. Like, I've spoken to people who've been driving for 5 to 10 years, all right, and I asked them to explain the clutch brake, and I asked them and they don't really know what's going on in there. It's just, well, why would you? Why would you know? It's just because because you can't see what's going on, all right, and as long as you do everything right, like basically, in order to put it into gear, you have to put the clutch down all the way to the ground, and then you can put it into gear. For a lot of people, that's kind of all they know. All right. Some people don't even, like, some schools don't even, like, I spoke to a guy there recently, and he told me that they never even brought up the clutch brake. They just said put the clutch all the way to the ground and you can put it into gear. It's just really, it's just it's so important, because you can break something if you don't really understand it. Now, this is how I've animated it. This isn't how it really looks. All right, it looks a lot different than this. It'll be basically wrapped around, put on the other side of this, whatever. It doesn't matter. You can Google it if you want to really look at it. But I'm just animating it like this. Basically, when you press the clutch all the way to the ground, it stops the clutch from spinning. Now, it stops the clutch from spinning because it needs to go at the exact same speed as the transmission. Okay? Because even when the truck is moving, in order to get into gear, the clutch is the one that is connecting to this. Now, realistically, you're not actually matching the road speed with the engine RPMs. You're matching them with the clutch RPMs, okay? Because, again, if it's not engaged, because you only ever put it into gear when the clutch is, well, in the dead zone, you know what I mean? Or where, you know, when the clutch isn't engaged. So, all right, let me just press play again there, right? So, and it's not going to start spinning again until we get up into this area, okay? See the way it's not spinning? It will not spin. Now, I'm not going to put it into gear here. I'm just going to go ahead and raise the clutch up a little bit, and you're going to see this kind of close, and we're spinning, and then once it gets to the very top, okay, the engine is going at the exact same speed as the clutch. Cool. All right, now how much more left in this video? Okay, this video is actually quite long. What else am I talking about? Again, so now as well, when you do use the clutch brake, it may not stop immediately, but how are you supposed to know? Now, if you put the clutch down and it starts to grind, well, press the clutch down even harder. All right, don't force it into gear, because that's just going to grind. All right, even harder. All right, just press the clutch down even longer, because basically you need this clutch to stop. And if you don't, what am I trying to say? If you don't do it, if you don't put the clutch all the way down, it's going to grind. Now, this isn't exactly how it looks like when it comes to this gear going into this one. It actually looks a lot different. I can show you that in a different. Here, let me just. Is it? Hold on a second. I got a bunch of videos here that I wanted to kind of have show you. Where is this? Where is it? Oh no, I'm not talking. Dead air. Here, you know what? It's in this video. All right, I just stole this from the internet. All right, I want to show you basically what it looks like. Where is it? Hold on now. There we go. I'm going to show you what grinding looks like. All right, see that blue? See that blue part right there? All right, now he's actually trying to put it into gear here, okay? And basically, he's not even, I don't even think he's using the clutch, but it's just, it's basically, it's going to keep grinding because you need this part right here. All right, is the gear. All right, or the clutch. Yeah, crap. Then it's not my animation, so I'm not sure. But anyway, that's what it looks like when you're trying to. This is the sliding clutch that will actually go into the gear. Okay. Anyway, all right. Let me go back to the video that I want to talk about. Cool. All right. Clutch brake, very important. And now, the clutch brake only ever gets used. There's only one. It has one specific job, is to stop the clutch from spinning, so you can put it into gear from a stop. Never, ever, 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 multiply by 1,000,000,000 times, do you ever put the clutch down all the way to the ground when the truck is moving and you're in gear. Okay? All right? Because if you try to put the clutch brake, if you press the clutch all the way to the ground, all right, while it's in gear and you're moving, basically that clutch brake is trying to stop the truck. It's not going to do it at all. But basically, can you imagine this? Basically, it's like putting your foot outside the truck and trying to use your foot to stop the truck. It's not going to stop. That's basically what happens if you try to put your clutch down all the way when you stop. You don't do it. You can hang out in the dead zone, all right, if you want to, if you need to hang out, all right? But that's just don't do that. All right? Now, if you're moving and you're out of gear, all right, basically it's not in gear, you're in neutral, all right? And if you do put the clutch down all the way, well, not much damage will happen here because the clutch will stop spinning. It will stop because you'll be at 600 RPM. But again, it won't do anything. You can't do anything with that. All right, it won't go into gear. You're right. You need, and you do not. Well, if you do have the clutch brake all the way to the ground, it will stop this. But again, if you try to put it into gear, it won't happen. Okay. So anyway, all right. What else did I have in this particular video? I made everything. Everything was like, this video took months to make. All right. It took so much, and I don't want to butcher it. Hold on. There we go. That's probably what's going on here. See, another thing too. If you want, you can even test this out yourself. All right. If you're driving it, if you have the clutch all the way down, okay, and again it's disengaged, and if you rev it up, that clutch isn't moving, so you can't put it. It isn't moving. If you wanted to, you could actually put it into gear with the RPMs all the way up, as long as the clutch brake is down. All right. Again, once the clutch has stopped, you can even hang out in the dead zone, and you can still put it into gear. Again, the only thing that's going to start that clutch from moving again is the friction zone. All right. I'm dealt. Sorry. It is so important that you understand that, because it'll help you. It'll help you not grind. It really will. All right. As you can see here, the RPMs, the transmission is matching the RPMs. Okay. Again, I worked so hard on these animations just to make something spin like this. Whew, a lot of coding that I had to take from somebody else because I didn't know what I was doing. Anyway, as you can see, we're in the dead zone right now, which means we are not engaged. That means the clutch is spinning at a different rate than the engine. Okay, as you can see, but it's going at the exact. We know what speed it is because we are currently in the. We're in gear. All right, so at least that's fine. All right. Now, what are we going to do here? So, okay, if you are in gear and you're stopped, you need to get it out of gear, or you need to basically, by the time it gets to 600 RPM, you need to get that clutch down into the dead zone. Otherwise, it'll start to what's that word? When you when you're in the wrong gear, basically, it'll start to judder. The truck will start to go blah 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 blah, whatever. Anywho, okay. Now, even though we're stopping, that's fine. All right, we're in gear still. Now, it's very important that you stop in gear. The reason being is that if you stop while you're in gear, you do not need to use the clutch brake to put it into the next gear. Like, you can stop in 10th gear, take it out, flip the thing down, I'll get into that, and it'll go into first gear. You don't have to do anything. All right, it's because, again, we're matching the speed. The clutch is already going at the same speed as the transmission, so you can just throw it into gear. All right. So, yeah, there you go. See, going into whatever gear. Again, no, it doesn't matter what gear this is. All right, and I think that's fine. Okay. Now, I want you to. No, we don't need to go into that. Okay. Now, this part. Now, this, I need you need to be synced with your with your uh, with your clutch. This is going to be a double clutching. Okay, this is how you double clutch. This is how I want you to double clutch. Okay, I'm just going to push it, and by the way, this is like this is like a minute long, and I'm just going to be doing the exact same thing. So what you're doing, you put your foot on it, and then you basically move at the exact same rate. Basically, clutch now and into gear. So clutch out of gear, clutch into gear. All right, that's the motion. All right. So this is, I'm not going to pause it here. I just want you to understand that is the motion. All right. And you only have to go down a little bit. Even when if you don't even have to go down that far, as long as it's in gear. All right. Like to take it out of gear, it doesn't take anything. So a lot of the time, what I would do, I would have to have the pressure to go into neutral. But then once I put my foot down, it'll just come out of gear. And then I do whatever I need to do, wait, and then either go into the next gear higher, or we'll go into the whole downshifting. All right, but anyway, that's the motion I want you to do. And remember, this is a synced motion. All right, clutch to put it into gear, clutch to put it out of gear. So when I say the word clutch, I mean as in like you're putting the clutch down and then back up again. You're never going to hold it down. All right, because if you hold the clutch down, you are not actually you don't know what the RPMs are. All right, because if you're not engaged, the clutch, if the clutch is not engaged to the engine, you do not know what that clutch RPMs are at. Okay, so again, so that's that one. Now, what is the other video I wanted to kind of show you? Anyway, all right, here, let's take a look at what the inside of a transmission looks like. Now, this is a 10-speed. All right, and a lot of them look like this, I believe. Now, I stole this from YouTube, and I want to kind of go over what's going on. Now, if it's spinning, if this part, see that part that's spinning right there, that's neutral. All right, nothing's moving. I know something was moving. I don't know why, but anyway. So you're currently in neutral right now. These are what I think he called them sliding clutches. Okay, basically this is looking down on them, and of course your shifter would be above here, and it'll move, it'll fit in here, and it'll push this in. And let's go ahead and take a look. All right, so currently it is there you go. Now it's in first gear. He takes it out of gear. Now it's in second gear. All right, takes it out and slides it over into third gear. All right, takes it out, puts this one into fourth gear, and now it's in fifth gear. Now, I don't know exactly. There's a bigger gear that that's actually going to be able to turn everything else into this first gear will now be sixth, then seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th. Okay, and I don't know what that gear looks like, but it's a bigger gear that just basically turns first into into sixth and carry on or whatever, right? Anyway, I'm sure a lot of big people on YouTube land or whatever can if you type out how the transmission works, they can do a better job of showing you this. But anyway, that's reverse over here. Cool. All right, now let's talk. Let's talk about this. Okay. Cool. Now, this is basically what the shifting pattern is. All right. This is what it looks like. Reverse is pretty much always going to be up here. All right. There's always going to be a gear right underneath it. There's always going to be one in the center and all the way over here. All right. They all look like this that I've seen, but I think it's pretty safe to say that they all do. All right. And if not, then I'm sorry. Now, again, we're in America here, and none of our shifting things, none of our transmissions are synced. They're non-synchro. Okay, so if you're watching this in Europe, maybe you're getting educated on the fact of how the shifting patterns or all that kind of stuff work in America. I just never have driven in Europe. I've driven in Europe. I grew up in Ireland, but I've seen the trucks, but I've never actually seen them shift. But anyway, so this little animation here, okay, I want to explain. All right, now a lot of people when they go in, they don't really pay attention too much to this. Okay, I'm just going to pause it right as soon as I see this. But there is a spring. All right, when you go all the way to the left, you're going to feel a spring. All right, this is very important that you understand about this spring, because this allows you to know where you are. Once you don't feel any more spring or pressure, now you know you're in the very center. All right, now if you go all the way to the let's just go ahead. So yeah, you just basically it's a spring. All right, that allows you to go up and down to these gears. Okay, now And then, of course, there's the wall. Basically, you go all the way to the right. These are the only gears you can go into. But as soon as you feel the spring, you're here. Now, and then you go past the spring, you get to go to reverse or this gear over here. All right, the spring is going to push you out. Now, you never need a strong hand when you're actually dealing with when it comes to the shifter. There's no muscle whatsoever is needed. All right, so a lot of people make this particular mistake here. They go all the way over here. All right, so you can't do that. I feel like they're using too much strength here in this one. You got to feel the spring take you out, and then go up here. All right, because if you try to go over here, you're gonna grind because now you're in the wrong gear. Okay, you go from first, and you skip these two, and sorry, I didn't. Google thought I was talking to him. Nope, 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 nope. So yeah, so don't miss those ones. All right, if you're going in here, don't go all the way to the wall. If you go all the way to the wall, you will end up grinding. All right, so that just sucks. All right, so that's me grinding right there. Okay, so this would be. Are we clear on that one? I think I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate now. Oh yeah, this is a 10 speed. All right, so you start off in first gear. All right, let the spring take you out and up in the second. All right, and then we're going to go to third. We're going to go all the way over here, hit the wall, straight up, and straight down to fifth, and then select our selector, and then go all the way over to sixth. Let me talk about this first. Sorry, going from 5 to 6, a lot of people struggle with because it's actually quite a long distance. All right, this is the longest distance that the shifter has to travel. So a lot of people end up grinding going into this gear. All right, so you may need to do that a little quicker. All right, and if you do grind, it's because, well, you're too late. Okay, so you're gonna have to like rev the engines up a little bit and just catch that gear. But anyway, okay, all right, right. So where are we? 7th gear, straight down to 8th gear, and then we're gonna hit that wall, go into 9th gear, and of course 10th gear. Now we are going to go ahead and deal with the 8 speed. And the 8 speed, even though probably very few people have ever even touched an 8 speed, the 8 speed is very, 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 very important. All right, and understanding that is important. Now, in an 8 speed, the lowest gear is low. All right, and basically low is the most powerful gear in your arsenal. Meaning, as in like it's the slowest gear, but it gives you the highest highest RPM to ratio. I don't know, whatever. It just means that you got the most power to go up a hill if you have a heavy load, depending on the hill or whatever. All right. Or a lot of time people use low when they're just pulling forward after they reverse, basically because it's right there. All right. So you go basically you need to do a pull forward, so you go into low. All right, that's what I did. That's what I would never start off in low, knowing that I'm going to go up through the gears. I'd always start in the highest gear that my truck will allow me, depending on my load. All right, a lot of time if I was bobtailing, I would just stay in 5th gear. I would I would be in 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. I'd never even go down to 4th. All right, anyway, okay. So 2nd, all the way to the wall, yeah, and the 4th. Now when you're going from 5th, a lot of people accidentally go into reverse because they go past the spring and going up. So just don't do that. Okay. Anyway, that is 8th gear. All right. Now, what should we talk about? Hold on. Let me just read what's going on here. I tend to panic and slow down. Yes, slowing down. Very important. Okay. There's two times. If you're learning to shift for your CDL test, it is different than learning than shifting in the real world. You don't have the rules in the real world, really. And what I mean, as in like, it's okay to coast to a stop. It's fine. All right. Just as long as you know it's a stop. You know what I mean? And like, if you're coming up to a red light and that could turn green any minute, well, don't coast. All right, because well, you need to be in gear because you need to be able to go right away. But it is when you are doing your CDL tests. Yeah, you can fail. But we've all heard, well, maybe you haven't, but the phrase is out of gear, out of control. Personally, I hate that phrase because I've had so many of my students refer to that and they'll panic. All right, and I don't want you to panic. You have control. You may not be able to control to go faster, but you can control to go slower. You still have control over the steering wheel. You do have control. It's just people have a tendency of freaking out, trying to get into gear and not focusing on slowing down. All right, or they're trying to get it into gear before they hit the brake. Just don't panic. All right, forget about the whole out of gear, out of control. I've always hated it, because if you find yourself in panic, the chances are you're not going to actually find the gear. Okay, and um, if you do panic, all right. You know what? I'm going to dip into that later. Hold on. I've got an entire video on that, and otherwise this is going to go on for hours. I don't want to do that. Okay, forgive me. All right. Okay. Okay. I had to jump into order to get into gear. Oh, I thought we had to bump in order to get it into gear. I don't understand that statement. Wait, hold on. Oh, reading. I'm not going to read anything out loud. I'm a terrible reader, especially when I notice there's people watching me. I have a tendency to double clutch and forget to shift. Okay. So was the clutch down? Okay. Oh, do you double clutch or float the gears? I do both. But lately, I've been doing a lot more. Well, not lately, but I actually drive an automatic now, and I'm very happy with my automatic, because I'm a local in LA. But I have been shifting for, I don't know, 13, 14, 15 years. I think I've been shifting, and most of that was local. But anyway, threw me off. All right, I will go over these. I just find it very hard to concentrate, and I keep losing myself. Okay, we just spoke about that. Let's talk about shifting up. Okay, how to shift up. Now, I don't want to confuse you guys too, because oh man, do I have some really confusing videos. But I need to make sure that I'm actually there we go, downshifting. Oh come on, I've worked so hard on these bloody videos. All right, shifting up. Here we go. Okay, now, come on, stop that. We don't need to start right away. Now, depending on your transmission. All right. Right now we're gonna use 10 speed as an example. 10 speed is fine. I love the 10 speed. All right. Now, depending on where you shift, now this little red area right here, okay, basically this tells me, let's go ahead and play. All right. So I'm in first gear. All right. Now, basically, I'm gonna if I decide that I want to take the RPMs out here, you gotta I have to put it into gear by the time it gets down 400 less. All right. Now, a lot of time, if you're in school, they're going to say shift. I'm going to guess. They're going to say shift at 1500 RPM. That's when you're going to take it out of gear, and then you're going to put it into gear at 1100 RPM. That's great. Okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Just know that you don't have to be. It's not mandatory, especially if you're empty. Okay. They're just trying to make it very simple. Every gear you shift 1500 RPM. All right, I'm going to demonstrate that that's not the case. Like, I've got proper videos here where I'm actually going through. Here, let's go ahead and shifting up, shifting. Where is it? Come on now. Real life, shifting up through gears. All right. Now, I'm going to be shifting up here. I'm starting off in second gear. All right, I don't even know if I'm going to be floating in this gear or not. No, I'm going to be using. See, I'm shifting at a low RPM. I know it. See, when I made this video, I wasn't. I don't feel like it's good for teaching sometimes, because you're not even seeing me double clutch. Just because I'm not really using the clutch to take it out of gear, but I am using the clutch to put it into gear. All right. So forgive me on that one. All right. This is me just demonstrating that you don't need to go to 1500 RPM to shift. And this is a 13 speed. See that red little knob there? That just basically tells you that it's a 13 speed. Now I will be going into what it does later. I just wanted to bring that up. All right. Now, can I go back to the previous video by doing that? Oh, I can. Cool. Okay, I just learned something new. So 1500 RPM. Put it into gear. Now, you can't put it into gear. Basically, once it gets down to 1100 RPM, that's not the time to put it into gear. The time to put it into gear is when it's roughly like 150 RPM, because the time it takes you to get from neutral to the gear. Okay? That's important. All right? So we're on the throttle. We're going to shift at this RPM, take it out of gear, and it's into gear. So we start putting into gear roughly around here. All right? Now, I'm not really floating. Just remember now, you are putting your clutch down every single time for this. Okay? So I presume we're in fourth and we're going to fifth. There we go. So we flip the lever up, go all the way over to sixth. Notice I didn't even pause there. I just basically went all the way over. Okay? Seventh gear. obviously remember the spring. Okay, so we're 1000 RPM. So the reason, what are we doing? We're double clutching here? Okay, so I want to go back to something. I think I might have, forgive me on this one. All right, the whole live thing. I'm usually just say whatever and then pick and choose which ones I actually want to cut. All right, now the double clutching. Yeah, hold on. I got to go back to this. I'm sorry. Okay, we're going back to this for a second. Okay, now why do we double clutch? Okay, I don't know why I forgot that. The reason why we double clutch, because remember that that's the spinning clutch thing. All right, that's important because you got to get that clutch spinning at the same RPM as the engine. If the clutch is down, it is not spinning at the same RPMs. Because remember, the, the transmission is trying to meet the speed of the clutch. All right, and if the clutch is going at a different speed than the engine, all right, well, you don't really know what the clutch is doing. So it is very important that you raise that clutch up, okay? Back up into, at least into the free play area, because you need to engage that. You need to engage the clutch to match it to meet the engine. I'm sorry, I'm going to be repeating that. A lot of people don't understand that why what is actually happening. Okay, it's just when you're again the clutch is spinning at a different rate. That's why like if you ever try shifting without double clutching, it'll grind nearly every single time. And if you try doing that and downshifting, you won't go into gear at all. It doesn't matter how much you rev it up. All right, those RPMs can go crazy, and it just won't work. Okay. Oh, okay. Where was I? Well, crap. Did I already forget where I was? No, no. A spinning engine. Okay, let me go back. So we were down. Okay, let's go to down speed. Why haven't I got these organized? Man, I had all day sitting in my truck. I could have done this. All right, 10 speed, shifting, normal. Okay. Come on, downshifting at normal speed. All right, you know what? We're going to do this at slow speed. Can I do that? Downshifting, part 1, bumping. All right, there we go. Bumping. Bumping. This is what basically bumping means that you're getting on the throttle and it's going to bring the RPMs up. Now, we're basically, what is this? It's like a minute long of me just doing the same thing, so I don't have to actually pause it. But this is very important. All right, when you're bumping, it's basically bringing the RPMs up. Okay, and if you hold it down, it's going to go up a lot more. But when you are trying to downshift, you're trying to bring the RPMs up. Okay, and once you take it out of gear, those RPMs are going to drop, and you need to get on that throttle right away and get those RPMs up. All right. Otherwise, you're just going to confuse yourself. But again, this is bumping. Basically, if you hold it down. Now, I want you to practice this. When you actually get into a truck, turn the truck on. You're in neutral. Just bounce it up and down. Just do it. Bounce it up and down. All right. Get used to it. You're going to have to do this. All right. You're going to have to actually, get those RPMs up quickly. You can't put it down slightly and then it's kind of like, okay, no, yeah, just don't do that. All right. So yeah, cool. That's now okay. Okay, so now we're talking about let's go ahead and do downshifting. Now, so we're in 10th gear right now, and we're going to go all the way down to the first. Yes. Let me just have a quick little thing here. Hey, great idea. Yeah, I'll remember that. Okay, good. So downshifting. All right. We need, if I wanted to downshift to 9th right now, and if I'm at this RPM, I'd have to bring the RPMs 400 up, and that's not a good idea. So when you start slowing down, you're going to now. Hold on, I'm going to. Please watch your RPMs. I can't stress that enough. Oh no, I was fine. I'm just going to go ahead and listen to the engine. That's fine if you're. Don't just watch the RPMs. But, I gotta watch the road. Yes, you can watch the road too. You can do both. You can put your eyes down. When it's time to shift, take a look at what RPMs you're at. I don't care about the speed. All right. Well, I do, but I don't. All right. Pay attention. If I see my RPMs drop and it's a 10, 9, there we go. I'm gonna bounce it up and boom, in. You have to watch it. All right. Now, when it's out of gear, all right. When it's out of gear, And if you're not getting on that throttle, those RPMs are going to drop. All right. If it's out of gear, there's nothing stopping the RPMs from staying in the same place. All right. So if once you put your clutch down, those RPMs are going to drop. So you need to get those RPMs to the actual, the plus 400 RPM of when you actually took it out of gear. Okay. Now, remembering you have to double clutch. All right. You have to get. You can't keep your foot down. It can't be a single clutch. All right. Because it won't. Again, you're trying to match the transmission with the clutch, and if the clutch isn't revving up because you have the clutch down, the clutch pedal down, it's not going to bump up. All right, so that's why you're basically engaging the clutch just so you know where the RPMs are at. All right. Anyway, so we're going to bring it down nice and slowly, nice and slowly. I don't know exactly where it's going to be because I forgot. And so we're going to go at 1000 RPM. So we're going to rev it up. Now, a lot of time too, yeah, you see how I kind of went past it? That's fine. It's better to go past it than not at all because you can at least catch it on the way back. All right. And basically, once it gets to like maybe 15, because when you do put the clutch down, all right, you're disengaging the clutch, which means the clutch is no longer bound to the engine RPM. So the clutch's rotation isn't speeding up or speeding down or whatever you want to call it, right? It's kind of hanging out there, all right? And I feel like there's like a 200 RPM buffer, all right? Like if you're floating the gears, if you're trying to put it into gear without using the clutch, all right, you need to be exact, okay? But if you use the clutch at the same time, trying to put it into gear, it kind of opens up a buffer. Now you got to make sure you lift that clutch up right away again, all right? Because if you don't lift the clutch back up right away again, those RPMs are going to drop. All right, the engine's RPMs are going to drop, and then when you do lift up the clutch, then your truck's going to, kind of shake a little bit because all of a sudden you're giving the engine, you're kind of, in a way, you're kind of like twisting a little the what do you want to call it, the intake shaft, all right, because the RPMs are just shooting up, all right. So it's if you happen to leave your clutch down after it's in gear, all right. When I say down now, I mean like not all the way where the clutch brake is. Remember that? Remember that one rule from the start. Now, lift your clutch up slowly. You'll see those RPMs jump up and match the transmission speed. Anyway, so again, we're going to take it out of gear at around 1000 RPMs. We're going to take it out of gear. When are we going to do it? Rev it up and 7th gear. All right. Now, remember, we're double clutching. Just because you don't see a clutch here doesn't mean we're not. I just didn't want to confuse you too much. I just wanted to kind of show you what's going on here. All right. 6th gear. Boom. See how I caught it on the way down? All right, you can pre-select this, and we're going to go into 5th gear. Rev it up, and in. And of course, we're slowing down even more because we're nearly stopped now at this stage. Because remember, this is I don't even know how to word this. There's a lot more speed in the higher gears, so it takes a lot longer for the RPMs to drop when you're slowing down. You can, But anyway, all right. Now the next video. I don't even know if not that I shouldn't show you. It's just, it gets, well, it looks like this. It's not that I'm trying to confuse you. I just want to kind of like, this is basically, I'm going to be shifting up. All right. There's going to be a bunch of numbers in here in a second, right? Right now, let's go through it. Now, the engine, the clutch is going too fast to put it into 1st gear. So we need to stop. Oh, how long is that going to spin for? So clutch brake all the way down, wait for the clutch to actually stop spinning. Once it stops spinning, we can put it into gear. So we're going to go into 1st gear. All right, there we go, finally. All right, 1st gear. Now the reason why I have these numbers is kind of show you what RPM you will need to use. It'll make more sense once we actually get it into the gears. But now, of course, we're going to lift our clutch up. We're going to start raising it up, and now we're going. Now we're going to give it some throttle, and we're going to start speeding up. Now this 600 is all, whatever's inside in this little box here is going to match this. So we're going to rev it up all the way up to 1500 RPM. Now, I'm going to stop as soon as it gets there. Now, as I'm going to pause. If you ever see the engine not spinning, that means I'm paused on the video, okay? So this basically means that in order to be in 2nd, I need to be at 1100 RPM. All right. So once I take it out of gear, I choose 2nd, and there we go. So, and again, the higher your RPM. Now, if I shifted early, let's go back there for a second. All right. So, like, if I wanted to, I could have let it down to to 700 and I could have gone to third. That's totally fine. You can totally skip gears. The first part, you can skip first to third, then maybe third to fifth, and then maybe kind of go up through the gears normally. Okay, just you can, and even you can even downshift skipping gears. One of the in my test in 2002, um, I asked, for some reason I asked, I'm like, well, when we downshift, why do I have to go through every gear? Why can't I skip gears? I'm like, well, no, you actually can skip gears. You just got to do a little more calculation, and you got to, instead of shifting at, at what's it called here at 11, you leave your RPMs go a little more, but then of course you're going to have to bump it a lot harder, and we get it into 15, and then that was fine. So that's what I did, and I actually skipped gears going down, even on my test. And actually, one of my proudest moments in my career, in my life, actually, was I was the second person in the history of that school to ever get 100% on a drive test. For me, that's huge. Like, not that I'm bragging; it's just something I'm proud of. Like, that I was able to understand. Well, downshifting. I was scared, really scared about losing a gear because I never really lost a gear. I never lost a gear when I was in training. All right, so and I was so scared about it that I concentrated so hard on actual shifting that I definitely learned my lesson on my very first day driving by myself when I couldn't find a gear. Because I had to clutch all the way down. So I lost a gear going up. I was going from one on ramp, to, one freeway to another freeway. I got to the top of the hill and I couldn't get into gear. And I was trying every single gear at every single RPM. I was going crazy, and I had the clutch down the entire time. And I had to actually pull over because I couldn't get into gear. I thought there was something broken, but as soon as I stopped, I lifted my clutch up. Oh, I had the clutch down the entire time. So the clutch wasn't spinning. The transmission was spinning at crazy RPMs, and I was trying every single possible gear and everything. But anyway, this is what happens when I talk about something else I've forgotten what we've been dealing with. Okay, again, skipping gears. We don't have to. You can. Just know that you have to do a little calculation, and I will get into that too. Man, this video is going to go on for a while. What are we at right now? How many minutes are we at? Oh, 42 minutes. Oh boy, it doesn't. Okay, they're meeting. I'm already after a full days of work here. Okay, so we're gonna go to third gear. All right, so we're gonna bring it down to 11, and there we go. Okay, and I'm just gonna keep playing this video and narrate as it's going. Okay, as you can see, every single time I'm double clutching. Okay, I'm putting into gear before that number. So that number is going to be 11. So I'm going to start putting into gear roughly at around 12. Yeah, roughly around 12. Okay, now this is just another way to look at it. Okay, this is why this isn't realistic in a way, you know what I mean? So 6th gear, bring my RPMs all the way up to 15, take it out of gear, and we'll take it in at 11. How many gears? Can we skip some of this? Because basically there's going to be a downshifting part here. I want to get to. All right, because you guys have better things to be doing than this. Okay, we're in 10th gear, so we're going to bring the RPMs all the way up to 15, and then we're going to start slowing down. Okay, off the throttle, we're going to start slowing down. Now, let's say you wanted to downshift. Wait, hold on. Then we're going to try to get it to 15. Can I pause on 15? No, I can't. Okay, whatever. I did. Cool. If I wanted to downshift to 9th right now, I'd have to bring my RPMs all the way up to 1900 RPM. All right, and it would work. Sometimes maybe in some cases it won't, because some of the engines have a governor, and that sucks. So of course we have to bring the RPMs down. All right. Again, once we take it out of gear, and we rev it up, 15 into gear. We start slowing it down again, and the same thing again. All right. We're going to take it out at 11, choose 8th, bring it all the way up to 1500 RPM, and then start slowing down again. Okay, when would you do this? Whenever. This is just practice. Okay, and that will go on and go on and go on. Now let's see these two numbers here. All right, we don't even have to be. We could even give us a random number here. Okay, there we go. So let's say we were in 6th gear. Okay, and we're at 1740 RPM. If I wanted to go to 8th gear, and if I'm shifting up, I'd have to leave the RPMs drop all the way down to 940. and I could put it into 8th gear and skip 7th altogether. Again, it wouldn't be, it would lugging. Sorry, that was the word I was trying to look for earlier on. Lugging. I can't remember why I was talking about lugging. Oh yeah, if your RPMs go below 600 RPM and it's still in gear, your truck will start to lug. Okay, anyway, sorry. Um, so now if we were downshifting, let's say we were in 8th gear, okay, and we bring our RPMs down. Can we bring them down more? Let's say we bring them down. Let's say we brought them down to like 970. If I could totally skip 7th. We don't even have to go into 7th. We could just go into 6th because why not? There's no need. We could totally skip 7. I skip gears all the time. Like seriously, if I'm downshifting, I'm not going through every individual gear. That's just silly. It really is. All right, skip the gears. Bring those RPMs all the way down, and then give it a good bump, and totally skip. All right, it's totally fine. You're not going to get in trouble. I did it. I'm proof that it works. Anyway, of course, now so you bring it all the way up, and then you could do the same thing. You go basically, depending on what you're driving. You know, if it's just 10, whatever. Was it 10, 8, 6, 4? Why am I having trouble counting down in twos? Whatever. Anywho, so we're downshifting 7th, so bring it all the way up to 1500 RPM into 6th. Again, remember, you got to bring those RPMs down. Now, while we are talking about shifting, all right, I know I haven't dipped into the whole 13 speed, 18 speed, and 10 and all that kind of stuff yet. This I don't have a video for. Now, when you're going uphill and down a hill, all right, there's like 12 different scenarios, all right? You have, depending if you're empty or loaded, all right? You shift differently, all right? So if you're empty and you're shifting on a flat ground, then it's empty if you're shifting going up a hill, and then if you're empty shifting going down a hill, all right? Now, meaning if you're shifting up or shifting down, there's 6 right there, all right? And then if you're loaded and you're shifting on a flat ground, and versus shifting going downhill and shifting going up a hill, all right? It is very important that you understand that you have to shift differently. Okay, a lot of time when you're heavy, you've got to give it a lot more RPM. All right, when it comes to because you got to give it more power. Now, when you're when you're going up a hill and you're shifting up, okay, the gravity wants the truck to stop. Hold on a second. Gravity wants the truck to stop. So gravity is basically a truck's brake. All right. So if you're shifting up, all right, bring those RPMs up a little higher than you would normally. So instead of shifting at 1500 RPM, maybe shift at 1700 RPM or 1600 RPM. All right. Because by the time you get it into gear, all right, but it's because the truck is actually kind of half slowed down because you're not giving it power. All right. That the bump, that RPM is going to go a little bit lower than normal. So there's more like a 600 gap. All right, so you got to take that into account. All right, and of course, if you are downshifting, going down a hill, all right, you're gonna where are we going uphill right now? So we're talking about uphill. So we're downshifting, going up a hill. You don't have to rev it up as much, all right, because of the truck is kind of slowed down a little bit, so it doesn't need to go 400, maybe 300 will be fine. Hold on, what does this say? Oh my god, there's so many comments, and I can't read any of them right now. Hold on. You're a rock star. Cool. Shifting 14. Okay, some people shift to 1400 when you're going from 15. When you're going 15, go to 6th gear. Okay, that's fine. When you're going 25, go to 7th. Oh, cool. I did skip my gear in a CDL test, and she did not mark me. Yeah, you're not going to get marked. All they care is that you're driving perfectly, that you're not grinding. My goal is for you guys not to grind. All right, this is what anyway. Okay, where's the mouse? There it is, and okay. So I'm taking up half the screen. That's fine. I'm allowed to do that. I'm not really talking about anything that's going on behind it. So I really should have this written down. I only thought about it on the way home. I'm like, oh yeah, there's all these different scenarios. Okay, now when you're shifting going down a hill, all right, and when you're shifting, when you're downshifting going down a hill, you need to bring this is the scariest thing for a lot of people, all right, is shifting on a hill, because if they lose control, they kind of find it hard to, capture it. But if you're downshifting, going down a hill, you need to bring those RPMs up a little higher, all right? Because again, gravity is going to actually speed you up, all right, because you're going down a hill, all right. So, and it's better to just, and of course, the quicker you actually shift, the less you actually have to do this. All right, because if you can just do it really quickly, get those RPMs up immediately and then in. All right, that's great. All right, just the quicker you are, the better. But if you're going to be slow, you may need to have a little bit more RPM, and you're going to grind starting off. You probably are grinding, and of course your goal is to grind less. Just because you grind doesn't mean you need to go, oh crap, you know what I mean? But sometimes just maybe scratching. Can we not just don't grind like get it into gear? We don't want that. Just sometimes a scratch is just, well, is educational. It just basically tells you what kind of grinding it is. You can actually kind of hear the grinding going down. All right, and it's like, oh, I'm getting closer and closer and closer. Now, of course, make sure that if you're trying to find a gear, you don't put the clutch down until you know exactly where well, basically when you're if you do hear the scratching and it's getting softer and softer, go ahead and put the clutch down then, and then it'll just pop into gear. Okay, so but I want you to understand that as in like don't just keep doing this back and forth and bouncing and bouncing and bouncing. And my God, the amount of students that would do that. Just don't do that. If you're struggling, just kind of like maybe press it up against it a little bit, just a little bit. I'm not saying it's good for the truck. It's not, but it's at least it's informing you of what is going on. Like if you're hearing a really hard grounding, I'm like, oh my God, you're totally in the wrong gear. But anyway, so you do have to take that into consideration. The hills. All right. If it's giving you speed, if you're going downhill and it's giving you speed and you're shifting up, you may need to do a quicker shift, all right? Because it's speeding you up. And if you're going downhill, well, it's speeding you up, so you're going to have to account for that speed. So you're going to have to shift at a higher RPM. Okay, you know what? All right, so forgive me here now. In this one, what are we talking about? Hold on now. Let's talk about different shifting. Let's talk about different shifting patterns. Okay. Now let's see. Now this, I want to talk about the 13 speed and the 18 speed. Okay. Again, I can't remember if I talked about this or not. I'm not going to dip into the 15 speed because I've never driven a 15 speed. I've watched so many videos and they talk about deep reduction and oh my God, I just haven't a clue what they're talking about. I learn differently than a lot of people. I need to be doing it. This video, I don't even know if this video would help me out if I was watching this video. I'm thinking most of you guys who are actually watching this video is actually, hold on a second. Oh, I'm taking up too much of the screen. There we go. We don't need, damn it, I'm taking up here. You know what? I'll take up this, there we go. Because I'm not actually even, there we go. I don't even need it. We're not going to use, what am I talking about? All right, we're talking about these things. All right, again, I'm not going to deal with this. Just if you hop into a truck and it has a blue little switch, drive it like a 10 speed. That's it. And then maybe experiment later. All right, I'm not going to deal with it. Now, I want to talk about the 13 speed and the 8 speed. Sorry, 13 speed and the 18 speed. These are the two most common. I did a survey one time on, and these were the two that, actually this was number 1, this was number 2, the 10 speed was number 3, 15 was way down below at the very bottom, and most people drove an automatic. But anyway, the 13 speed and the 18 speed are practically identical. They're like the same thing, all right, except for one thing. You can't split the bottom gears. That is the only difference. Now, splitting. What is splitting? That's a good question, David. Now, splitting basically means that you can split the gear. Basically, if you're in low, all right, and you can go to the high part of the gear, which basically is shifting up. When you watch the RPMs and you put it into the high range, all right, I'll show you a video on that soon in a minute, all right. But I just want you to explain. There is only, well, it's actually 9 gears in both of them. Okay. Now, why are they called 13 and 18 speeds? All right. Well, the reason is because in the 13 speed there's 13 forward speeds. In the 18 speed there's 18 forward speeds. All right, and this is where it gets confusing. And you're going to drive the 18 speed and the 13 speed like an 8 speed. But there's 9 forward gears. Meaning, okay, let's go ahead and count them. All right, so low is the lowest gear. All right, so remember a low, and then so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Hold on, I messed up. Ah, what did I do wrong? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. There we go. I don't know why. Okay, I'm sorry about that. So again, so that's what you do. So this is one gear. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, now let's go over to the 18 speed. Why? This is why they call it an 18 speed, because there's 18 forward gears. So you have low. All right, so low, 1, 2. And again, we can split every gear. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. What is wrong with me? Why can't I do that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. All right, so again, we don't count low in the pattern. We're going to drive this like an 18 speed. My God, we're going to drive them like an 8 speed. All right, it's because there is only 8 gears we're going to use. We're not going to use low. All right, in our pattern, it is very important. So 8 speed. All right, now so yeah, they're identical. That's it. That's pretty much it. Now, if I actually have driven an 18 speed, but I wasn't able to drive it like an 18 speed. I could only drive it. LOL, you're tired. Yeah, I am very tired. I've been up since 3:30. So because the 18 speed that I was driving, it actually had a red little knob. So no, you weren't driving an 18 speed. You were driving a 13 speed. Now, okay, the reason why I knew that I was driving an 18 speed is because you can actually see, you can't, with this lever flipped up, all right, with this lever flipped down, you can't go into high. You can only slide this forward when you're in, you can only slide this forward when this is flipped up. All right, it's just there's something blocking it. Okay, there's something blocking it. All right, so let's go ahead and flip this down for a second. So, and when it's all the way back, all right. Now when this is all the way forward, you can't flip this down. There's something preventing it. All right. Now I actually was in 4th gear one time, and I was about to go into 5th gear, and I flipped this up, and I slid this forward, and then while I was driving, I let off my accelerator, and whoa, I actually split forward. All right, and I was able to actually do that every single time with all the gears, but it was very a pain in the ass. By the way, when you're driving an 18 speed, you're driving like a 13 speed because most of the time you're not going to split the bottom gears. There's no need whatsoever to split them. All right, if you're in the quarries, or if you need to go extra slow, if you're going up really big, huge hills, yes, okay, that's fine. Have an 18 speed, but new guys, you're not going to be doing that. Maybe a few of you are. Anyway, where are we going on here? So basically, this is me trying to explain of how it actually works. Where are we going to start off on first? There we go. Okay, the trigger. You know what? I've got a video. I can just show you how to do this. Where is it? Okay. Here, let me know what. Say it's shifting full video. Highlight. Clutching going down. Man. Let's look at this one. So I'm going to be shifting in between. This is only what, 26-minute video. So when you slide it forward, so that's not the best video. This is just basically me going to be. I'm thinking I'm even floating. I'm not even using my clutch here in this one. Oh, there was a downshift. So all you have to do is slide it back or slide it forward. All right. But there's something needs to trigger it, and I'm trying to find that one video where I can show you. If only. Oh wait, do I have another? Oh wow. Yeah, the red switch. There we go. Okay, so let's go back and forth from 7 high to 7 low. So 7 low. Nope. Sorry, that's actually an old video. The red switch. Maybe I don't have it. I don't think I'm looking for it now. All right, I guess we're going back to the. To the demonstration here. So to trigger it. All right, so you're always going to start off in low. Okay, so you're going to accelerate. You're going to pre-select it. All right, you're going to pre-select it forward. Okay, Oh yeah, okay. Sorry, we're driving at 13 speed right now, so I actually can't get into the demonstration not till I get into 5th gear. All right, so there we go. So we're in low, we accelerate, we pre-select it forward, and all you have to do is let off the gas and then back on the gas again. So pre-select it, let off, boom, see the RPMs drop? There we go. And then if you want to go, if you want to go into the next gear using the splitter, again, you don't have to use this. You can completely ignore it altogether if you want to, if you can. Just again, everything is a want or a need basis, and like you can do whatever you want. You don't have to go through every single gear. All right, meaning is you don't have to go high, low, high, low, high, low, high, low, going from every single gear. Now we're always going to pre-select. Everything's going to be pre-selected. You pre-select a selector to go up, or by the way, I call this a slider. All right, I slide it back and forth. All right, that's what I called it. I think I've heard a bunch of other people call it that too. But oh my God, how would I move my face out of the way? Okay. All right. Where are we? So we're in 5th gear. Okay, we're in 5th gear. Let's go back one. Hold on, because my stupid face was in the way. There we go. Let's start from there. So we're going to go from 4th to 5th, and then we're going to pre-select this. Okay. Always, you have to pre-select it because what triggers it is lifting the clutch up. All right, and watch the RPMs drop, and there we go. Now we're in 5 high. Now we're going to pre-select this back, and we're just going to fly it into 6 low. Okay, and then we're going to pre-select it forward. All right, let off the gas. Come on, slide it forward, and we're going to let off the gas and back down again, or the throttle. And we're going to pre-select it into low, and just fly it into 7th. The reason I say fly it into 7th is because that little extra distance that you have to carry, all right, means that you really have to go quickly. Okay, all right. So we slide it forward, let off the gas, and RPMs drop. We're in the next higher gear. Slide it. Now there's actually only a 200 RPM difference between all these slidings, all these high, low, high, low. Now if you were basically going to go from one gear to another, basically I call them whole gears. If you're not going to be using your if you're not going to be using the slider, I want you to actually I'm going to be calling them whole gears. So that means I can go from 5 high to 6 high to 7 high to 8 high, or 5 low to 6 low. All right, it's all about the RPM difference. If I'm going to skip, if I'm just going to go from a whole gear to a whole gear, there's going to be a 400 RPM difference. Anywho, okay. By the way, I'm going to be making a lot more of these videos because I'm butchering this. I feel like I could be doing a lot better. Maybe if I didn't already work a full day of work, and yeah. Anywho, okay. That is that. Let me just, I want to go up through the gears. So 13 speed, high low demo. Okay, this is a 13 speed, high low demo. Okay, sliding it back, let off. Sliding it forward, let off. Okay, sliding it back. You see what my foot's doing here? There we go. Okay, this is getting a little more interesting. Okay, that's it. Slide it back, let off, back on the gas. Slide it forward, let off, let the RPMs drop, and then back on the gas. That's just how it works. All right, that's just staying in one gear. Okay. All right. Oh, there's this one thing I wanted to show you. I might be cutting this a little bit short early. All right. So here's one thing. All right. Let's just say you're coming to a stop. Okay. Right now I'm in 7th gear. Okay. I've got traffic up here. They're stopped. So you know what? I'm just going to let my RPMs drop. Once it gets to 600 RPM, I'm just going to take it out of gear. All right. But I'm going to stop in gear. Okay. I don't know what I'm doing there, but basically once it gets to a couple of miles an hour, boom, I just throw it into 3rd. All right, I was only going, what was I going? Hold on, what was I going? So basically it was 5 miles an hour. I just threw it right in there, all right, with the aid of the clutch, okay? And of course you have to have the clutch down too because you're stopped, all right? Okay, next one. What one was that? Okay, floating. I don't want it. So again, the free play. This is just an example of free play when you're driving. See, it doesn't do anything. All right, but don't ever rest your foot on the accelerator. Or sorry, on the clutch. It's just not. It's not very good. It's not very good for it. Okay. Floating, 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 floating. I don't want to teach you floating. Okay. All right. I'll teach you. I'll just do, what's this? Part 2, Part 1. Floating from 2nd to 4th. Okay. Here's something. No, I'm not going to teach you that. That'll be a different one. I'm sorry. That would be, okay, hold on. So this is the hidden 4th gear. For all of you guys who are actually driving at 13 speed, I'm going to show you there's actually hidden 4th gear. Now, looked at, so I'm going to be going to 5th gear here in a second. All right. Now, I'm not going to flip this down. It's still flipped up. Watch what gear I go into. All right, I take it out of gear, rev it up. I'm in low. What am I doing in low? Low is not a gear when this is flipped up. Well, it actually is. It's 4th gear. See, there's 5th gear. All right. It's just that low is an actual is another gear. It's 4th gear, but it's just we don't count that. So sorry. All right. But yeah, there you go. That's there's a hidden gear for you that you probably didn't know. If you don't understand it, then you can ignore that part. All right. Oh yeah, this one. This is the one I was looking for. Now, when you're stopped. Oh yeah. When you're stopped. All right. I'm gonna be grinding here for a second. All right. I want to kind of let you hear the grinding. All right. So, right now the clutch is engaged. All right. Foot is up. All right. Now I'm gonna try put it into 1st gear. You hear the grinding? You hear the grinding getting softer and softer once I put the clutch down. Well, when I put my foot down all the way, I actually stopped. I stopped the clutch from spinning. Yeah, cool. Now I'm gonna be doing it. Oh yeah, see that one right? See how it won't go into gear right there? That's very okay. This is gonna happen all the time. This is gonna happen all the time. Now this is when basically, hold on. I'll go back to it. I wanted to go to here. Okay. See these teeth here? They basically, if they're not lined up, all right, it won't go into gear. All right. So you got to get that clutch moving in order to get it into gear. All right. But you don't want you only want it to move just a little bit. All right. And so we're just doing. Let's just Again, it's a short video. So grinding, put the clutch down. Now, if you do grind, just kind of maintain the grinding just a little bit. But now, see here, it's not going to go into gear. Clutch is down. Why won't it go into gear? It's because the clutch and well, it's actually the sliding clutch is not actually lined up with the gear. Okay, so we need to get that moving. In order to get that moving, watch my foot. I lift it up a little bit. I just put it up a little bit, and it popped right in. Now I have to have pressure. See the way I had pressure? All right. See, I maintain that pressure, and it just popped right in. This is going to happen all the time. All right. And what you don't do is rev it up too much and then try, because now you're going to start from all over it again. Now, one thing. What am I doing here now? So let's just keep the video going. Okay, so we're in gear. Again, when we're stopped, we're stopped. We can go into any gear we want. Oh, all right. Man, live streaming. That's tough. I would do so much editing right now if I wasn't. Meaning as in like I'd be cutting so much of all the garbage. All right. Oh, this would be so much more. And I will make proper videos on this. I know. I think I made my first shifting video was nearly 4 years ago. And I've just been focusing on backing videos. Shifting through the gears. Oh, you know what? Not this one. Okay, we just saw that. There is one. Where is it? There is gear recovery. Come on, gear recovery. Where are you? Forgive my dead silence. I'm trying to read. All the questions and I can't. Yeah, okay. I don't see it anywhere. I don't see it anywhere. I love that video. Selecting. Maybe it's in a different folder. I'm sorry. This is gear recovery. Gear recovery is important, all right? Because if you do lose the gear, you need to know how to actually get it back. Okay. So I kind of half coined this phrase, but it's easier to find a higher gear at a lower RPM than a lower gear at a higher RPM. All right. So what that means that you have a choice. You usually have a choice between 3 gears. Okay, of what it will actually go into. Yeah, some even 4, but I would nearly always try a higher gear. Let's say you're at 30 miles an hour. Okay, and you're like, oh, what gear could you possibly get it into? Well, I would nearly say 7th, 6th, and 5th. All right. Now, if you're going to go into 5th gear at 30 miles an hour, no, that's not right. Can you go 30 miles an hour in 5th gear? You can go 25, no, 15. So yeah, let's say we're so basically it would be, well, depending on what you're driving. Yeah, it would be, if you're going 30 miles an hour, it would be 7, 6, or 8. Yeah, is what. Now, if you're going for 7th gear, you want the RPMs up high. If you're going for sorry, if you're sorry, if you're in 6th, if you want to go for 6th gear, you're going to have to bring the RPMs high. If you're 7th, you can bring them down to like 1,000 RPM, and if you want for 8th gear, you get into lower. So that's what I mean. As in, like, if you want to go for 8th gear, you just have to pump it up a little bit and put it into 8th gear. Okay, and then once you're in gear, hey, you can downshift. All right. So remember now, it's just easier, and when you can't keep the clutch down when you're trying to recover. It's nearly best to even not touch the clutch at all, to be honest with you. If you all right, because I don't know, it's just if you keep the clutch down and you're constantly trying to find a gear, you're just going to be. I feel like you might end up doing even more grinding. But now, I don't know. Let's say you're going 20 miles an hour. Hold on. Let's just. You know what? We know exactly how to figure this out here in a second. You know what? Here we go. I'm disappointed I lost that video. No, I have no idea where it is. But let's go back to this one here, streaming. There's an entire. Okay, so this is the whole video, but so let's take a look. So if we are so we're at 20 miles an hour. We're in 5th gear. Okay, so if you're this is how you figure it out. All right, so you figure out. So I'm at 1100 RPM. So that means I can get into 5th gear. Now, if I wanted in 6th gear, all right, I'd do it around 700 or 800 RPM. All right, and if I wanted it in if I wanted to find 4th gear, 20 miles an hour, I'd bring it up to 1500 RPM. So that's basically how you figure it out. Okay, so let's go to a higher speed. There we go. Let's say we're 35 miles an hour. So we're in 7th gear at 35 miles an hour. So if I wanted to be in 8th gear, I'd have it at around 700 RPM. All right, so again, it's much easier if you're trying to figure out what gear to go into. Is go to a higher gear, kind of work your way down. Don't work your way up. All right, and yeah, cool. I think that makes sense. Anyway, all right, all right. I'm gonna call it a night. I will be making a lot more videos. I'm sorry I didn't read it. I didn't do all the reading that I promised. It's just there's a lot going on. Have I driven in the UK? No, I just driven a car in the UK. There are different transmissions. They actually have synced transmissions in there. I had a guy try to explain to me one time, but I don't know how it works. I don't know how it works. Yes, I did put a lot of time into this. When I teach a class, it's always smoother the second and subsequent times. Okay, anyway, I'll read these later, dudes. I am going to call it a night. I'm sorry. Okay, I rambled on for what? An hour? And I am starving because as soon as I got home, I turned the computer on and I started working on this. I need to eat some food. All right, I will make more videos. And I will, maybe I'll do a live stream again. I'll do maybe shifting or trip planning. And then we can maybe dip more into the whole questions and answers thing. But anyway, okay, I'm going to call it night. All right, guys, take care and expect more videos from me. And don't forget to download my game. There should be a link in the description eventually once I put it there. Anyway, cool. All right. Goodbye, guys.